1764ರಲ್ಲಿ ಬಕ್ಸರ್ ಕದನ ಅಂತ
ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ರಾಜಕೀಯ
ಬಕ್ಸರ್ ಕದನ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರು ಈ ದೇಶದ ಈ ಭೂಭಾಗದ ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಂತ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ತಮ್ಮ ನೇರ ಅಧಿಕಾರವನ್ನು ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು 1764
ಹುಟ್ಟಾಕಿದ್ವು.
1766ರಲ್ಲಿ ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ 2 ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ಸವಾರ್ ಅನ್ನುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಆದಿವಾಸಿ ಸಮುದಾಯ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ದಂಗೆ
ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟತೆ ಇರೋದು.
ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ 2 ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ಪಹಾರಿಯಾ ಅನ್ನುವಂತ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಆದಿವಾಸಿ ಸಮುದಾಯ
ಕೋಮು ರಾಜಕಾರಣ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ. ಧರ್ಮ ಮತ್ತು ಜಾತಿ, ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ ಧರ್ಮವನ್ನು ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಏನು ಕೋಮುವಾದಿ ರಾಜಕಾರಣ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ. ಈ ಕೋಮುವಾದಿ ರಾಜಕಾರಣ ಇಡೀ ದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಅಪಾಯ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, ರಾಜಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೂ ಇದ್ದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಅಪಾಯ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಈ ಕೋಮು ರಾಜಕಾರಣವನ್ನು ವಿರೋಧಿಸುವಂತ, ಕೋಮು ರಾಜಕಾರಣವನ್ನು ಇಲ್ಲವಾಗಿಸುವಂತ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನ ಜಾಗೃತ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ರಾಜಕಾರಣವನ್ನು ಬದಲಿಸುವುದು, ರಾಜಕಾರಣವನ್ನು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ದಿಕ್ಕಿಗೆ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗುವ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಅಂದಾಗ ಅನೇಕ ಅಂಶಗಳಿರ್ತವೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಪ್ರಮುಖ ಅಂಶ ಕೋಮು ರಾಜಕಾರಣವನ್ನು ಇಲ್ಲದಂತೆ ಮಾಡುವುದು ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಮಗೆ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟ ಇದೆ. ಆ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ರಾಜಕಾರಣವನ್ನು ಬದಲಿಸುವ ಅಂತ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ, ಈ ಒಂದು ಕೆಲಸದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿಜೆಪಿಯೇತರ ಬೇರೆಲ್ಲ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಪಕ್ಷಗಳ ಜೊತೆನೂ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಇಂದ ಹಿಡಿದು ಬಿಜೆಪಿಯೇತರ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಪಕ್ಷಗಳ ಒಳಗೂ ಹೊರಗೂ ಆ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಪಕ್ಷಗಳ ಜೊತೆ ಕೋಆರ್ಡಿನೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು. ಈ ಒಂದು ಆಶಯವನ್ನು, ಈ ಒಂದು ಗುರಿಯನ್ನು ಸಾಧಿಸುವ ನಿಟ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಪಕ್ಷಗಳ ಜೊತೆ, ಬಿಜೆಪಿಯೇತರ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಪಕ್ಷಗಳ ಜೊತೆ ಕೋಆರ್ಡಿನೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಅಧಿಕೃತವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಈ ಒಂದು ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನ ಜಾಗೃತ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ತನ್ನದೇ ಆದ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಒಂದು 2-3 ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಗಳು ಮಾತ್ರ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ನೆನಪಿರಬಹುದು, 2024ರ ಲೋಕಸಭಾ ಚುನಾವಣೆಗೆ ಮುಂಚೆ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಮೊಟ್ಟ ಮೊದಲ ಬಾರಿಗೆ ದೊಡ್ಡದಾದ ಒಂದು ಚರ್ಚೆ ನಡೀತು. ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ತೆರಿಗೆ ವಿಷಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ರಾಜ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಅನ್ಯಾಯ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ. ಈಗಲೂ ಅನ್ಯಾಯ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ನಿಜ. ಆ ಒಂದು ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಗೃತ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಈ ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಕಂದಾಯ ಸಚಿವರು ಮತ್ತು ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಆರ್ಥಿಕ ಸಚಿವೆಯಾದಂಥ, ಹಣಕಾಸು ಸಚಿವೆಯಾದಂಥ ನಿರ್ಮಲಾ ಸೀತಾರಾಮನ್ ಇಬ್ಬರಿಗೂ ಜಾಗೃತ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಬೇರೆ ಸಂಘಟನೆಗಳ ಜೊತೆ ಸೇರಿ ಬಹಿರಂಗ ಕಾಲ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು, ನೀವಿಬ್ಬರು ಬಹಿರಂಗ ಚರ್ಚೆಗೆ ಬರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಕಾಲ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು, ನಿಮಗೆ ನೆನಪಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿನ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಭವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು PPT ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಇಡೀ ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಜನತೆಗೆ, ಅದು ಲಕ್ಷಾಂತರ ಜನ ಲೈವಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅದನ್ನ, ಇಡೀ ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಜನತೆಗೆ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಅನ್ಯಾಯ ಆಗಿದೆ ಕೇಂದ್ರದಿಂದ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಎಳೆಯಾಗಿ ಬಿಚ್ಚಿಡುವಂತ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನ ಕಂದಾಯ ಸಚಿವರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೂಲಭೂತವಾಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಜಾಗೃತ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ. ಅದನ್ನೇ ನಾವು ಅನೇಕ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಆರ್ಥಿಕ ವಿಷಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಡೀ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಆರ್ಥಿಕವಾಗಿಯೂ ಕೂಡ ಭಾರತ ಹಿಂದೆ ಉಳಿತಾ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಪರಕಾಲ ಪ್ರಭಾಕರ್ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಕರೆಸಿ ಒಂದು ಚರ್ಚೆಯನ್ನ ನಾವು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಚುನಾವಣಾ ಬಾಂಡ್ ವಿಷಯ ನಿಮಗೆ ನೆನಪಿರ್ತದೆ. ಚುನಾವಣಾ ಬಾಂಡ್ ಅನ್ನ ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಕೂಡ ತನ್ನ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವೇಷನ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಲೀಗಲೈಸಿಂಗ್ ದ ಕರಪ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತು. ಆ ಒಂದು ಲೀಗಲೈಸಿಂಗ್ ದ ಕರಪ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೆದು ಚುನಾವಣಾ ಬಾಂಡ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತು. ಆ ಟೈಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಚುನಾವಣಾ ಬಾಂಡ್ ವಿಷಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವಾದ ಮಾಡಿದಂತ ಪ್ರಶಾಂತ್ ಭೂಷಣ್ ಮತ್ತು ಅಂಜಲಿ ಭಾರದ್ವಾಜ್ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಕರೆಸಿ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಕಾವುಂಗ ನಾ ಕಾನೆದೊಂಗ ಅಂತ ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ನಂಬಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಂಥವರು ಇಡೀ ಭಾರತದ ಇತಿಹಾಸದಲ್ಲೇ, ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರ ಭಾರತ ಇತಿಹಾಸದಲ್ಲಿ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ ಅಂತ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಇದ್ರೆ, ದೊಡ್ಡ ಕರಪ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ರ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಕೊಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ ಚುನಾವಣಾ ಬಾಂಡ್ ನಂಬರ್ 1 ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದಂಥವ್ರು ನಾ ಕಾವುಂಗ ನಾ ಕಾನೆದೊಂಗ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಜನರು ನಂಬಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಜನರಿಗೆ ತಿಳಿಸ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಜಾಗೃತ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಿಂದ ಆ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಯತ್ನವನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಯೋಗೇಂದ್ರ ಯಾದವ್ ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ಈ ಚುನಾವಣಾ ಬಾಂಡ್ ವಿಷಯದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಧಾರವಾಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತು ಕಲಬುರಗಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ಆ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ರಾಜ್ಯ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ನೀತಿ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಡೀತು, ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಜಾಗೃತ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಿಂದ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿನಲ್ಲಿ, ಮಂಗಳೂರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೂ ಕೆಲವು ಕಡೆ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರನ್ನ ಮತ್ತೆ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳನ್ನ ಕರೆದು ಸಂವಾದ ಏರ್ಪಡಿಸಿ ಅದರ ಮೂಲಕ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ SEP ನಲ್ಲಿ ಕಮಿಟಿ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಯಾರಿದ್ರು ಅವ್ರನ್ನೂ ಕರೆಸಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಈ ರೀತಿ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಗಳಾಗಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರದ್ದು ಮತ್ತೆ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳ ಅನಿಸಿಕೆಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ತಲುಪಿಸುವಂತ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಶೈಕ್ಷಣಿಕ ಸಮೀಕ್ಷೆ ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ, ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಇದು ಅಗತ್ಯ ಇದೆ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಶೈಕ್ಷಣಿಕ ಸಮೀಕ್ಷೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಗಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಜಾತಿ ಸಮೀಕ್ಷೆ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಇದು ಯಾಕೆ ಅಗತ್ಯ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಅನೇಕ ಕಡೆ ಸಭೆಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿ, ಅನೇಕ ಕಡೆ ಸಭೆಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದನ್ನ ತಜ್ಞರ ಮೂಲಕ ಮಾತಾಡಿಸಿ ಇದರ ಅಗತ್ಯ ಇದೆ, ಯಾಕೆ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬರು ಪಾಲ್ಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕು, ಇದನ್ನ ವಿರೋಧಿಸಬಾರದು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ನಾವು ತಿಳಿಸುವಂತ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನವನ್ನ ಜಾಗೃತ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಿಂದ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಹಾಗೆ ಕುವೆಂಪು ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಚಾರಿತ್ರಿಕ 2 ಭಾಷಣಗಳು, ವಿಚಾರ ಕ್ರಾಂತಿಗೆ ಆಹ್ವಾನ ಮತ್ತು ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ ಕ್ರಾಂತಿಗೆ ಕಹಳೆ ನಾಂದಿ, ಇವೆರಡೂ ಭಾಷಣಗಳಿಗೆ 50 ವರ್ಷ ತುಂಬಿದಂತ ಒಂದು ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಮೈಸೂರು ಮತ್ತು ಮಂಡ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಕುವೆಂಪು ಕ್ರಾಂತಿ ಕಳೆ 50 ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ, ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ ವಿಚಾರ ಕ್ರಾಂತಿಗೆ ಆಹ್ವಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಜಕಾರಣ ಬದಲಾಗದೆ ಯಾವ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಯೂ ಬದಲಾಗಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಕುವೆಂಪು 50 ವರ್ಷಗಳ ಹಿಂದೆನೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವರೊಂದು ಕರೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು ಯುವಕರಿಗೆ, ಎಂಥ ತ್ಯಾಗದಿಂದನಾದರೂ ಸರಿ, ನೀವು ಕ್ರಾಂತಿಯಿಂದನಾದರೂ ಸರಿ ಚುನಾವಣೆ ನಡೆಯೋ ರೀತಿ ಬದಲಾಯಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಕುವೆಂಪು 50 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಚುನಾವಣೆ ನಡೆಯೋ ರೀತಿ ಈಗ ಎಷ್ಟು ಹಾಳಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಂತ. ಇವತ್ತಿಗೂ ರಿಲೆವೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಆ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ಪಸರಿಸುವ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ನಾವು ಏರ್ಪಡಿಸಿದ್ವಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಅನೇಕ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಗಳ ಮೂಲಕ ನಾವು ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಸಂಘಟನೆಗೆ ರಾಜಕೀಯವಾಗಿ ಪರಿಣಾಮ ಬೀರುವಂತ ಮತ್ತು ರಾಜಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಯುವಕ ಯುವತಿಯರು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಸನ್ನಿವೇಶ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ನಾವು ಜಾಗೃತ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಇತ್ತೀಚೆಗೆ ನೀವು ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ಸಮಾವೇಶಗಳನ್ನ, ಜಿಲ್ಲಾ ಮಟ್ಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ಸಮಾವೇಶಗಳಾಯ್ತು. ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅನೇಕ ತಪ್ಪು ಭಾವನೆಗಳನ್ನ ಕೆಲವು ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಪಕ್ಷದವರು, ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ ಮೀಡಿಯಾದವರು ಜನಮಾನಸದಲ್ಲಿ ಮೂಡಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಯಾವ ಮಟ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ನ MLAಗಳೇ ಕೆಲವರು ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿಗಳಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿಗೆ ದುಡ್ಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿಯೂ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿಯೇ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿಗಳ ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ಲ ಈ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ 3 ವರ್ಷ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಬಂತಲ್ವಾ, ಅದರಿಂದ ರಾಜ್ಯದ GDP ಹೇಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗಿದೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಪರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ಸಮಾವೇಶಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಗೃತ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ವತಿಯಿಂದ ಅಂಕಿಅಂಶಗಳ ಸಮೇತ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಜನರಿಗೆ ಅರಿವು ಮೂಡಿಸುವಂತ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನ ಜಾಗೃತ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಈ ರೀತಿ ಅನೇಕ ಕೆಲಸಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಎಚ್ಚರವನ್ನು ಮೂಡಿಸುವಂತ, ರಾಜಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚೆಚ್ಚು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯವರು ಮತ್ತೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ರಾಜಕಾರಣದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಆಸಕ್ತಿ ಬೆಳೆಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂತ ಕೆಲಸಗಳನ್ನ ಜಾಗೃತ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಅಖಿಲ ಭಾರತ ಮಟ್ಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಗೃತ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಭಾರತ್ ಜೋಡೋ ಅಭಿಯಾನ್ ಜೊತೆ ಕೈ ಜೋಡಿಸಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಭಾರತ್ ಜೋಡೋ ಅಭಿಯಾನ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಸೀತಾ ಅವರು. ಭಾರತ್ ಜೋಡೋ ಅಭಿಯಾನ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. ಭಾರತ್ ಜೋಡೋ ಯಾತ್ರೆ ನಡೆದಾಗ ಅದೊಂದು ಚಾರಿತ್ರಿಕವಾದ ಯಾತ್ರೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಹುಲ್ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಅವರು ಅದನ್ನ ನಡೆಸಿದಾಗ ಇಡೀ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ರಾಜ್ಯಗಳು ನಾಗರಿಕ ಸಂಘಟನೆಗಳು, ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಸೊಸೈಟಿ ಈ ಸಂಘಟನೆಗಳೇನಿದ್ವು ಎಲ್ಲಾ ರೀತಿಯ ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಸಂಘಟನೆಗಳು ಭಾರತ್ ಜೋಡೋ ಯಾತ್ರೆ ಜೊತೆ ಕೈ ಜೋಡಿಸಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸುವಂತೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಸಕ್ಸಸ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾರಣರಾದವರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬ ಪ್ರಮುಖ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಯೋಗೇಂದ್ರ ಯಾದವ್ ಅವರು. ಭಾರತ್ ಜೋಡೋ ಯಾತ್ರೆ ಮುಗಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಭಾರತ್ ಜೋಡೋ ಅಭಿಯಾನ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಹೆಸರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಇದನ್ನ ನಡೆಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಭಾರತ್ ಜೋಡೋ ಅಭಿಯಾನದ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಗುರಿ ಏನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರಜಾಪ್ರಭುತ್ವವನ್ನು ಉಳಿಸ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಮತ್ತು ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್, ಸಾಂವಿಧಾನಿಕ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ ಉಳಿಸ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಮತ್ತೆ ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಸಾಮರಸ್ಯವನ್ನ ಉಳಿಸ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ಅನೇಕ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆಗಳ ಮೂಲಕ ಭಾರತ್ ಜೋಡೋ ಅಭಿಯಾನ್ ಮೂಲಕ ಯೋಗೇಂದ್ರ ಯಾದವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಜಾಗೃತ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಅಖಿಲ ಭಾರತ ಮಟ್ಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾರತ್ ಜೋಡೋ ಅಭಿಯಾನ್ ಜೊತೆ ಕೈ ಜೋಡಿಸಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಇನ್ನು ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಬರೋದಾದ್ರೆ, ಯೋಗೇಂದ್ರ ಯಾದವ್ ಅವರು ಬಹುಶಃ SIR ಬಿಹಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವಾಗ ಶುರುವಾಯಿತು, ಈ SIR ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮೊಟ್ಟ ಮೊದಲ ದನಿ ಎತ್ತಿದ್ದು ಯೋಗೇಂದ್ರ ಯಾದವ್ ಅವರು. ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿಯ ತನಕ ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕಮಿಷನ್ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಸಿವ್ ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡಲಿ, ಸಮರಿ ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡಲಿ, ಯಾವುದೇ ಮಾಡಲಿ, ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕಮಿಷನ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಏನಾಗಿರ್ತಿತ್ತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಅರ್ಹ ಮತದಾರ ಪಟ್ಟಿಯಿಂದ ಮಿಸ್ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು. ಆ ರೀತಿ ನೋಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಅವರನ್ನ ಮತದಾರ ಪಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಸೇರಿಸುವಂತ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮತದಾನದ ಹಕ್ಕನ್ನು ಕೊಡುವಂತ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನ ತನ್ನ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿಯಾಗಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕಮಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಆದ್ರೆ ಈ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಸಿವ್ ರಿವಿಷನ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕಮಿಷನ್ ತನ್ನ ಇಡೀ SIR ಡಿಸೈನ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅರ್ಹ ಮತದಾರನ ಅಪ್ಪಟ ಭಾರತೀಯರನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಮತದಾನ ಪಟ್ಟಿಯಿಂದ ಆಚೆ ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಆ ರೀತಿ ಒಂದು ಡಿಸೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಇದರ ಅಪಾಯವನ್ನು ಅರ್ಥಂತ ಯೋಗೇಂದ್ರ ಯಾದವ್ ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಎಚ್ಚರ ಮೂಡಿಸುವಂತ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಬಿಹಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಹಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಕೂಡ ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಸ್ವತಃ ವಾದ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ಗೆ ವಾದ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ನೆನಪಿರ್ತದೆ, ಅನೇಕರನ್ನ ಬಿಹಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಸತ್ತೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಬದುಕಿರೋರ್ನ ಸತ್ತೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ತೋರಿಸಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಲಿಸ್ಟಿಂದ, ವೋಟರ್ ಲಿಸ್ಟಿಂದ ಆಚೆ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಬಿಹಾರದಲ್ಲಿ. ಆ ತರ ಯಾರನ್ನ ವೋಟರ್ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಆಚೆ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರು, ಬದುಕಿದ್ರು, ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಮುಂದೆ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಯೋಗೇಂದ್ರ ಯಾದವ್ ವಾದ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ರಾಹುಲ್ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ಯಾರು ಸತ್ತೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ವೋಟರ್ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಆಚೆ ತೆಗೆದ್ರು ಅಂತ ಜೊತೆ ಟೀ ಕುಡಿದು ಅದನ್ನು ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ತಿಳಿಸೋ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಪಟ್ಟಿದ್ದ ನೀವು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಆಗಿಯೂ ಕೂಡ ಬಿಹಾರದಲ್ಲಿ 60 ಲಕ್ಷಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಜನರನ್ನ ವೋಟರ್ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂದ ಡಿಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಾಯಿತು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ವಿಷಯ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ನಾವು SIR ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಪ್ರಚಾರ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಕೆಲವು ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಮೆಂಟ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ 6 ಲಕ್ಷ ಬಾಂಗ್ಲಾದೇಶಿಯರಿದ್ದಾರೆ, SIR ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಆಚೆ ಕಳಿಸಬಹುದು ಬಿಡ್ರಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಕಾಮೆಂಟ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಕೆಲವರಿಗಾರು ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ತದೆ, ಬಿಹಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕಮಿಷನ್ ಬೇರೆ ಕಾರಣ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಅಮಿತ್ ಶಾ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ ಪದೇ ಕಾರಣ ಏನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಈ ಅಕ್ರಮವಾಗಿ ಬಂದಿರೋರ್ನ ಆಚೆ ಕಳ್ಸಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ SIR ಅಂತ. ಬಿಹಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಬಾಂಗ್ಲಾದೇಶಿಯರು ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಸಿಗಾಕೊಂಡಿರ್ಬೋದು? 10,000 ಜನ, 20,000 ಜನ, 10 ಲಕ್ಷ ಜನ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಕೇವಲ 2. ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲಾ ಮಾಡಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕಮಿಷನ್ ಬಾಂಗ್ಲಾದೇಶಿಯರು ಅಂತ ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿದಿದ್ದು 2ರನ್ನ ಮಾತ್ರ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಸುಳ್ಳು ಅಂತ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೂ 60 ಲಕ್ಷ ಜನ ಆಚೆ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬೆಂಗಾಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತೃಣಮೂಲ್ ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಮಟ್ಟದ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಪ್ರತಿ ಬೂತ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ತೃಣಮೂಲ್ ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ನ ಕಾರ್ಯಕರ್ತರಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಬದ್ಧತೆಯಿಂದ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿಯ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯೀಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಈ ವಿಷಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಡೀ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಹುಶಃ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಪೆನ್ಷನ್ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ಇರೋದು ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬೆಂಗಾಲ್ ಮಾತ್ರ. ಅವರು ನ್ಯೂ ಪೆನ್ಷನ್ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯೀಸ್ ಆ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಖುಷಿಯಿಂದನೂ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಅಧಿಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಒಬ್ಬರು ಓಟು ಮಿಸ್ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಮಟ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಹಾರ್ಗಿಂತ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನಂಗಾಯ್ತು. ಆದ್ರೆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕಮಿಷನ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮಿಷಿನ್ ರೀಡಬಲ್ ಇದನ್ನ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರಿಪೆನ್ಸೀಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿದು ಲಾಜಿಕಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರಿಪೆನ್ಸೀಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು 60 ಲಕ್ಷಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ನೋಟಿಸ್ ಕಳಿಸ್ತು. ಪುನಃ ಏನಂತ, ನಿಮ್ ಸ್ಪೆಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಇನಿಷಿಯಲ್ಸ್ ಹಿಂದೆ ಮುಂದೆ ಇದೆ. ಯಾವ ಮಟ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ನೋಟಿಸ್ ಕಳಿಸಿದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅಮರ್ತ್ಯ ಸೇನ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನೋಟಿಸ್ ಕಳಿಸಿದೆ. ಅಮರ್ತ್ಯ ಸೇನ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ತದೆ, ನೋಬೆಲ್ ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದ್ರ ಮೂಲಕ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆ ತಂದು ಕೊಟ್ಟವರು. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನೋಟಿಸ್ ಕಳಿಸಿದೆ, ನಿಮಗೂ ನಿಮ್ಮ ತಾಯಿಗೂ ಏಜ್ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ 15 ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇದೆ, ನೀವು ಬಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲನೇಷನ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಈ ರೀತಿ ಬೈ ಡಿಸೈನ್. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಆ ನೋಟಿಸ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಉತ್ತರ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ ಅದನ್ನ ರಿವ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಜೆಪಿ ರೂಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ಸ್ ನ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಂದು ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಅಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ಇದನ್ನ ರಿವ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಇದರ ಅಪಾಯ ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಟ್ಟಿಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ. ಅಷ್ಟು ಕಡೆಗೆ ಮಮತಾ ಬ್ಯಾನರ್ಜಿ ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ಸ್ವಂತ ಕರಿಕೋಟ್ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ವಾದ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಯ್ತು. ಆದ್ರೂ ಈ ಎಷ್ಟು ಲಕ್ಷಾಂತರ ಜನರ ಓಟು ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಮಿಸ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ತಮಿಳುನಾಡಲ್ಲಿ DMK ಎಷ್ಟು ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರು ಅಲ್ಲಿ 70 ಲಕ್ಷಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಜನರ ಓಟು ವೋಟರ್ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂದ ಡಿಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಮತ್ತು ತಮಿಳುನಾಡಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾವಿರಾರು ಮಂದಿ ಎನ್ಯೂಮರೇಷನ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ನೇ ತುಂಬಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇತ್ತೀಚೆಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಂದಿನ ತಿಂಗಳು SIR ಶುರುವಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಅಧಿಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿದೆ. ಅಧಿಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾಗಲಂತೂ ಅದ್ರ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಮಟ್ಟಕ್ಕಿದೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ಅಧಿಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಯ ಅಧಿಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಯಾಗಿಯೂ ಮತ್ತು ಒಂದು ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಪಕ್ಷವಾಗಿಯೂ ಅದರ ಆದ್ಯ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿದು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಇವತ್ತು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬನೇ ಒಬ್ಬ ಅರ್ಹ ಮತದಾರನ ಹೆಸರು ಮತದಾರ ಪಟ್ಟಿಯಿಂದ ಡಿಲೀಟ್ ಆಗದೆ ಇರೋಂಗೆ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂತ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಮೇಲಿದೆ ಮತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಮೇಲೂ ಇದೆ. ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಮಟ್ಟದಲ್ಲಿದೆ, ನಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಮೇಲೂ ಇದೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿನ ಅರ್ಥಕೊಂಡು ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಯ ಅನೇಕ ಪದಾಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳು, ನಾಯಕರು, ಕಾರ್ಯಕರ್ತರು, BLAಗಳು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ. ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ನಾನು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಈ ಒಂದು ಹಿನ್ನೆಲೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಆ ರಾಜ್ಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ, ಆ ರಾಜ್ಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅನೇಕರು, ಪ್ರತಿ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲೂ ಯೋಗೇಂದ್ರ ಯಾದವ್ ಅವರು ಬಿಹಾರದಲ್ಲಿ, ದೆಹಲಿನಲ್ಲಿ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವಿಕ್ ಸಹಾ, ಜವಾಹರ್ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಅವರು ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬೆಂಗಾಲ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಆಶೀಶ್ ರಂಜನ್ ಅವರು ಬಿಹಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈ SIR ನಡೀತಾ ಇರುವಾಗ ಆದಷ್ಟು ವೋಟರ್ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂದ ವೋಟರ್ಸ್ ಡಿಲೀಟ್ ಆಗದೆ ಇರೋಂಗೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಪ್ರಯತ್ನಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರೇನ್ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನಗಳನ್ನ ಪಟ್ಟರು, ಅದರಿಂದ ನಾವೇನ್ ಪಾಠ ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ, ಅವರ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನಗಳು ಏನೇನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನಾಯ್ತು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಕೇಳೋದ್ರ ಮೂಲಕ ನಾವು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ ಅದರ ಹಿನ್ನೆಲೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಇವತ್ತು ಒಂದು ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಸೆಮಿನಾರ್ನ ನಾವು ಏರ್ಪಡಿಸಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಈ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಯೋಗೇಂದ್ರ ಯಾದವ್ ಅವರು ದಿಕ್ಸೂಚಿ ಭಾಷಣ, ಕೀನೋಟ್ ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ರಾಹುಲ್ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಿ ಅವರು ಈ ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನಂತರ ಯೋಗೇಂದ್ರ ಯಾದವ್ ಅವರು, ಆಶೀಶ್ ರಂಜನ್ ಬಿಹಾರಿಂದ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವಿಕ್ ಸಹಾ ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬೆಂಗಾಲ್ ಇಂದ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರು ಮತ್ತೆ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ವಾಸು ಒಂದು ಪ್ಯಾನೆಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಏನೇನಾಯ್ತು ಆ ರಾಜ್ಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ, ಇಲ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ. ಇದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನದ ನಂತರ ಯೋಗೇಂದ್ರ ಯಾದವ್ ಅವರು, ನೀವು ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬರುವಾಗ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಂಬರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬರು ಮೊಬೈಲ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕಳಿಸಲಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಆ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಅನ್ನ ಫಿಲ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಹೇಗೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದರದ್ದು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿರೋ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಫಿಲ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂತ ಯೋಗೇಂದ್ರ ಯಾದವ್ ಅವರು ಸ್ವತಃ ಅದನ್ನ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬರ ಕೈಲೂ ಫಿಲ್ ಮಾಡಿಸಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾತ್ಯಕ್ಷಿಕೆ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದ್ರ ಮೂಲಕ ಮುಂದಿನ ದಾರಿಗಳೇನು ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಮತ್ತಷ್ಟು ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಆದಮೇಲೆ, ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಮಾಡಿ ಸುಮ್ಮನಾಗುವಂತ ವಿಷಯ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಅಷ್ಟು ಗಂಭೀರವಾಗಿದೆ. ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಮುಂದಿನ ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ಗಳೇನು, ಒಟ್ಟಾರೆಯಾಗಿ ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿನ ಸೇರಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡಂಗೆ ಏನ್ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ಕೊನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಲಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಇಷ್ಟು ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ಇದು. ಮತ್ತು ಇದರ ಮೂಲಕ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬ ಮತದಾರನ ಓಟು ಮಿಸ್ ಆಗದೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ನಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಮೇಲೂ ಇದೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗೋಣ. ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ನಾಂದಿ ಹಾಡ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹಾರೈಸ್ತಾ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಯೋಗೇಂದ್ರ ಯಾದವ್ ಅವರು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ BC ಬಸವರಾಜ್ ಅವರು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಒಳ್ಳೆಯವರು ರಾಜಕೀಯಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದರೆ ರಾಜಕೀಯನೂ ಕೂಡ ಒಳ್ಳೇದಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಜಾಗೃತ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಕರೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ರಾಜಕೀಯಕ್ಕೂ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಕಾಲ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅದರ ಭಾಗವಾಗಿಯೇ ಅವರು ಕೆಮಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ರಿಸೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಈ ಒಂದು ರಾಜಕೀಯದ ಒಂದು ಚಳವಳಿಯ ಭಾಗವಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಇಲ್ಲಿರುವಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಎಲ್ಲರಲ್ಲೂ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯತನ ಹುದುಗಿದೆ. ನೀವು ಕೂಡ ಜಾಗೃತ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಭಾಗವಾಗಬೇಕು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು QR ಕೋಡ್ಗಳನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ತೀರಿ, ಸಭಾಂಗಣದ ಸುತ್ತ ನಾವು ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಯಾರು ಸದಸ್ಯರಾಗಿಲ್ವೋ ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸದಸ್ಯರಾಗಿ. ಅದರೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ರಾಜಕಾರಣ ಮುಂದೆ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಹಣಕಾಸಿನ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಕೂಡ ತುಂಬಾನೇ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಯಾರಿಗೆ ದೇಣಿಗೆ ಕೊಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯವಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಚಳವಳಿಯನ್ನ ಸಂಘಟನೆಯನ್ನ ಗಟ್ಟಿಗೊಳಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ದೇಣಿಗೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡಿ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇನೆ. ಈಗ ನಾವು ಇದುವರೆಗೂ ವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಂಥ ಇಷ್ಟು ನಿರೀಕ್ಷೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಂತಹ ಒಂದು ದಿಕ್ಸೂಚಿ ಭಾಷಣ ಶ್ರೀ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಯೋಗೇಂದ್ರ ಯಾದವ್ ಅವರಿಂದ. I request Yogendra Yadav sir to kindly come onto the stage and give us the keynote address. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, friends. I should begin by thanking Jagrat Karnataka and Bharat Jodo Abhiyan Karnataka for organizing this very important seminar at absolutely the correct time. This country has always looked up to Karnataka because Karnataka is one of the more Jagrut states of India. When we think of social justice, policies of social justice, people like me read Havanur Commission report. We read about Devraj Urs and what he did. When I think of the farmers movement, Rayat Chalvali, I think of Nanjunda Sami, I think of Karnataka Raja Rayat Sangha. I take inspiration from Karnataka. When we think of Dalit movement, when I think of Dalit literature, I look at writers from Karnataka, critics from Karnataka. I remember my friend D.R. Nagaraj. I take inspiration from Devanur Mahadev. And it's not just me. The whole country looks at Karnataka as one of the more Jagrit, one of the more forward states in terms of consciousness. And the whole exposure of vote chori also began with Karnataka. So I'm really hoping that with today's seminar, we begin a new movement, a new trend, so that this calamity called SIR will also be resisted in the best possible way in Karnataka. Before I start speaking about SIR, let me say something about the larger context of what is happening in our country. Please remember, okay, maybe the chairs can be removed. Yeah? Incidentally, I don't see this lovely arrangement of translation anywhere else in the country. This also happens in Karnataka. So let me talk about the larger context first. What is happening to democracy in this country today? Please remember that murder of democracy in 21st century does not follow in the same way as it used to happen in the 20th century. In the 20th century, dictatorship came in a very simple way. Someone would come in a uniform, say from tomorrow there is martial law, there is censorship, democracy is over, I'm taking over. This is what would happen in Africa, this happened in Pakistan, this happens in so many countries of the world. But in 21st century, everything is smart. Children are smart. Phone is also smart. And dictators are also smart. So no dictator says, from tomorrow we will have martial law, censorship. No, that's old style, out of fashion. In 21st century, a dictator comes and says, Constitution is great. He touches it, and then he tears one page and throws it in the dustbin. In 21st century, a dictator comes and says, Janata Janardan, and then takes away rights of that Janata. In 21st century, they always hold elections. No dictator in 21st century says, I will not have elections. No. Everyone holds elections. Even Putin in Russia holds elections. But you manage elections. So the 21st century model of dictatorship is where you have constitution. You do not suspend constitution. Where you have judiciary, you do not throw out judiciary. Where you regularly hold elections, but you ensure that constitution is not implemented, you ensure that judiciary does not say anything against you, and you ensure that the result of the election is exactly what you want. This is the 21st century model of dictatorship, not just in India. This is exactly what is happening in Hungary, in Turkey, used to happen in Sri Lanka till 2 years ago, happened in Bangladesh. All over the world, this is what the dictators are doing. And what is happening in India is a textbook example of 21st century model of killing of democracy. Please remember this. This is exactly what we are witnessing. Constitution there but not implemented. Judiciary there, but no really politically important judgment will go against the ruling party. Elections there, but kind of managed. That is what SIR is a part of. So SIR is not a small trick or a new thing by itself. SIR is part of a larger design. The design is the match must be played like your T20 matches. Match must be played. Public must watch it and have fun, but my team must win. This is the game. In 2024 parliamentary election, something went wrong. Modi ji had a script, and the game did not play according to that script. The script was 400 par, but in reality came down to 240. Something went wrong. Even the best players, best performers, best actors make mistakes. Something went out of their script. So then someone sat down in BJP office and said, You can manage everything, but sometimes you cannot manage the people. You know, you manage the Supreme Court, you manage the Election Commission, you manage bureaucracy, you manage everything. But the people of India, you cannot manage all the time. So, someone sat in BJP's office and said, we have to design something fresh. This is not enough. So after that, there have been 3 major initiatives which put together will ensure that the playing ground of elections is always tilted in favor of the BJP. You know, when there is a floor being made of a building, and if there is a tilt of even 2 inches, all the water will flow in that direction. This is exactly what is being done to our electoral system. 3 things are being done. In our classical languages, they say, Desha, Kala, Patra. Desham, Kalam, Patram. All 3 are being managed. And you know how? There are 3 things BJP is doing. Some it has started, one which is half finished, one which is about to happen. One is delimitation. What is delimitation? Rearranging the constituencies of this country and changing the allocation for different states in Lok Sabha. What would be the impact? The impact, if it is done according to the census of 2026, will be Kerala will come from 20 seats in Lok Sabha to 12. Tamil Nadu from 39 to 31. Andhra and Telangana put together from 42 to 37. Odisha will lose 3, Karnataka will lose 2, West Bengal will lose 4, Punjab will lose 1. Who will gain? All the North Indian Hindi-speaking states, their quota will increase. What would be the result? In those states where BJP faces no challenge at all, their total numbers will increase, and states where BJP faces some challenge, the seat numbers will come down. Then North India plus Gujarat will have a majority in the Lok Sabha. So this is the Desham. BJP has a problem that some parts of some regions of this country are not quite aligned with the BJP. So what you do, you shrink their size. That's the problem of Desham, which is resolved through delimitation. Second is the problem of Kalam. The electoral cycle in India is such that every 6 months, every 8 months, you have a major assembly election. So the government at the center has to do something for the people. You had an election in Bihar. Earlier you had Maharashtra and Haryana. Now you are going to see Assam, Tamil Nadu, Bengal and Kerala. Within 1 year, you have one major round of assembly election. The government the local government is accountable, but the central government is also accountable. So every 1 year or so you have to sit in an exam. You know, all of you would remember, earlier we had annual examinations. Now you have semester examination. So in semester, every 6 months you have to write an exam. So the problem for Mr. Modi was, every year he had to give an exam. Sometimes you pass, sometimes you fail. So what you do? You say, in 5 years, I will have only one exam. People of my generation will not remember, but in my father's generation, they had a rule that for BA and BSc, you had only one exam after 3 years. This is what Mr. Modi wants. One exam in 5 years. This is one nation, one election. This is the essence of one nation, one election. So that every 1 year, you do not have to submit yourself to exam. Once in 5 years, on one day, the entire country will have elections. On the same day, you have Lok Sabha election. Same day, you have Vidhan Sabha election. All the elections are done in one go in 5 years. What is the advantage? Advantage is very simple. Then you have to manage it only once in 5 years. Some Balakot can happen, some Pulwama can happen, you don't know. All these things can happen. Once in 5 years they can happen. Itna to kota banta hai na. So once in 5 years these things can happen, and before you realize the election is over and the whole country is sealed for 5 years. This is one nation, one election, which is a solution to the problem of kalam. Third is the problem of patram. What is the problem of patram? Which is that some sections of our society are not aligned with BJP. No matter what they do, certain sections, minorities, poor, in some cases Dalits and Adivasis, certain sections of population, even when they vote for BJP, they do not trust the BJP. I don't know if that is true in your areas, but in my Haryana, people in rural areas vote for BJP, but they say this is a party of urban merchants. I'm voting for them, but this is not my party. So BJP has this problem. Certain sections of society are not trustworthy voters. If India is a pyramid, the top of the pyramid is in BJP's pocket. They are absolutely assured. But the bottom of the pyramid is not aligned with the BJP fully. So, if somehow that bottom of the pyramid could be shrunk slightly, your problem is solved. This is SIR. So the three things that are happening, which seem to be three different things, are actually joined together. Delimitation, one nation, one election, and SIR. These are three ways to change the architecture of our electoral democracy in a permanent way, so that BJP becomes a party which is a default winner. It is a way to ensure permanent majority for the BJP. I hope my point is clear. They're trying to create, so because dictators, please remember, all dictators need to hold elections. Elections must seemingly be fair. So what do? You have to hold the match. You cannot say my team will play 25 overs, your team will play 10, 15 overs. That's obvious cheating. You can't do that. But you can change the pitch. You can change the nature of the ball. And you can influence the referee. This is exactly what is being done to India's electoral democracy. This is where SIR fits in. SIR is not just one piece. It is part of a larger design to convert India's democracy into a managed democracy to ensure that BJP has permanent majority while elections are held, matches are played, results are displayed, but I am more or less guaranteed that I will win all those matches. This is what the design is. It's a sophisticated design. As I said, everything is smart these days. Let me now come to SIR. What is SIR? It is about to begin in Karnataka. So I can tell you what they will come and tell you. Officials, election commission officials, and BJP spokespersons, they will all say the same thing. These days you do not know who is an ECI spokesperson and who is a BJP spokesperson. Election commission does something, BJP comes to defend it. Because there is a jugalbandi between election commission and BJP. So what will they say? They will say, look, there is a problem with voters list. We want to revise it because the problem is big. Therefore, we want to do intensive revision. What is wrong with this? Why are you complaining? Your leader Rahul Gandhi said there is a problem with voters list. Okay, so now we are curing it. Where is the problem? This is what they will tell you. They will also say, look, there's nothing new about intensive revision. Intensive revision has taken place 10 times in the past. For the last 25 years, it was not undertaken. But as a result of which, voters' lists have become very inaccurate. So we are now cleaning it up properly and thoroughly. So we are only repeating something which is old, which is a standard old practice. What is your problem? I'm saying all this because you will hear this on television now every day. Therefore, I want to clarify what SIR is not. Please remember this, because for the next 2 months, all of you will have to say this to your own workers, to your own friends. Some of you will have to say this on television. Some of you will have to say this in public meetings. Please remember and take note of the following things. Number one, SIR is not a revision of voters' list. It is a fresh writing of voters' list. What is a revision? In revision, someone comes to you and says, this is the voters' list. Okay, you are right, your name is deleted. Do you have to add someone? You add this thing. That is a revision. In revision, you take the existing voters' list as the starting point. You add some, you delete some. But if you are already there, you are alive, you are a voter of Karnataka, you don't have to do anything. Your name continues. SIR is not that. It is possible that many friends sitting in this hall may not know. SIR is not a revision of voters' list. It is a de novo fresh writing of voters' list on a blank piece of paper. So it is not correcting this list, but taking a plain paper and writing it afresh. What does it mean? It means that if you have been on the voters list for the last 40 years, if you have voted in 15 elections, But if you do not participate in SIR, if you do not give an application to become a voter, your name will be deleted, automatically deleted. You will not be a voter. In that sense, it is not a revision. Fresh writing, every one of you will have to give an application. Mr. Siddaramaiah will have to give an application to say, please include my name in the voters list. If Mr. Siddaramaiah does not give an application, he may be chief minister, he may have voted in 20 elections so far, someone may be 90-year-old, 100-year-old, your name will be deleted. And the election commission will say this is not deletion. It's a funny thing. In the past, if your name was deleted, you will get a notice. Election commission would send you a notice. You would get a hearing. You would get an order. You can make an appeal against it. But in SIR, if you fail to give an application within 1 month, no notice, no order, no appeal, because it is not even a deletion. They would say, you did not want your name, what can we do? What appeal, what right? All legal rights will be extinguished on that very day. This is the most dreadful thing. I hope everyone understands it. Because every state that I go to, people say, but I assume that I've been there for 50 years, so I don't have to do anything. No, sir. Everyone will have to fill in enumeration form. Point number 1, it is not revision, it is rewriting. Fresh writing on a plain piece of paper. Number 2, it is not addition and deletion. It is mainly an exercise in deletion. A normal revision of voters list, which takes place in this country every year, normally means that in every village, you would say, okay, 20 names deleted, 25 names added. This is the usual thing in our country. Revision has taken place, some names added, some names deleted. SIR is not that. SIR is mainly an exercise in deletion of votes. So I've said that also in the Supreme Court. It is not a revision of voters list, it is a deletion of voters list. And the figures speak for themselves. In Bihar, they deleted 65 lakh names. And in the first round of SIR, not even a single name was added. Later on, when we went to the Supreme Court, we created so much noise, they ended up adding 21 lakh names. 65 deleted, 21 added. Net deletion. Look at what is happening in Uttar Pradesh. 2 crore 90 lakh names have been deleted in one go. 2 crore 90 lakh names have been deleted in Uttar Pradesh. How many have been added? About 70 lakh or 80 lakh have been added. So net 2 crore down. Everywhere in the country, SIR has led to deletion and deletion and deletion of voters list. Every single case. Tamil Nadu, initial deletion of 97 lakh voters. Tamil Nadu is important because Tamil Nadu is not a migrant state. It is not an out-migrant state. It is a state which takes in migrant. Gujarat is one of the biggest in-migration. You can say UP and Bihar, people go out from there. Such a large number does not go out. 2 crore 90 lakh people do not go out of UP. But you can at least say, okay, UP is an out-migration state. But Gujarat is an in-migration state. In Gujarat, you had 74 lakh deletions of names. So remember, it's an exercise in deletion of names. It is not an exercise in addition of names. Number 3, it is not a repetition of anything that happened in the past. They will say, they will state this lie every single day, and you have to refute it every single day. Election Commission people will say, intensive revision is an old exercise. It happened in 1971, it happened in 1980, it happened in 19... They will say, in Karnataka it has happened 8 times. We are only repeating it. And you know the best way to refute it? I'm going to do it right now. How many of you sitting in this hall were voters in 2003? Please raise your hand. How many sitting in this hall were voters in 2003? Because you have to play this drama the way I'm playing it. Okay, so probably 2/3 of this hall was voter in 2003, okay? How many of you had filled an enumeration form, had given an application to be on the voters list in 2003? Anyone? A single one? No. Because this has never happened in the history of this country. Please do it the way I'm doing it. Ask your audience to raise their hand. Ask them, has a single person ever filled an enumeration form? No, never. So to say that we are only repeating what was done in the past is a complete lie. In the history of this country, 2 things have never happened. Number 1, someone who was already on the voters list was never asked to fill a form. If you were new, you wanted to be on the voters list, then you have to fill form 6. But if you are already on the voters list and you want to stay where you are staying, you don't have to fill any form. You are there. It is absolutely unprecedented. Never in the history of this country have people existing on the voters list been asked to apply to be on the voters list again. Number 2, do you remember ever, does anyone in this room remember giving a proof of your citizenship? Anyone ever, in order to be on voters list, have you proved that you are a citizen of this country? No. Not because citizenship was not important. The rule and the law and the constitution of this country says that if you are already on the voters list, you are presumed to be the citizen of India unless someone else gives an evidence that you are not. So if someone comes to my house in Haryana, in my village, I open the door, the election officer presumes that if I'm living in this village in Haryana, I must be a citizen of India. The presumption is that of citizenship. If someone else comes and says, no, Mr. Yadav is a citizen of US, then the election commission will say, okay, give me evidence. Not me. They will ask that person, you give me an evidence, then I will open a case against Mr. Yadav. This has been the standard norm of this country. Otherwise, we could not have had democracy in this country. If you start asking people who live on the pavement, people who go to work for daily wage labor, people who travel from Maharashtra and come to Karnataka to work in the fields, if you start asking these women who work in the sex industry, if you start asking everyone for proof of citizen, 1/4 of India will immediately cease to be citizens. And it is not their fault. You have never given them certificates of citizenship. And now you are demanding something you have never given it to them. Please remember, for the first time in the history of this country, these two things are happening. You may be on the voters list, but you have to give a fresh application. You are sitting in front of me, you say you have come from Koppal, you have a house in Koppal, but no, you have to prove that you are a citizen of this country. This has never happened before. So, to say that SIR is a repetition of something that happened in the past is a complete lie. SIR is unprecedented and unconstitutional. That the Supreme Court has to decide, but this is the truth. Number 4, SIR is not about cleaning of electoral rolls. This is another lie you would hear in the next month. Oh, there were many problems with the voters list. You know, we had to clean up the voters list. We have to improve the quality. Rahul Gandhi said there are so many problems in Bangalore voter list. We are improving it. Election Commission has zero interest in cleaning up the electoral rolls. I say this with seriousness because I went to the Supreme Court. I showed the copy of Bihar electoral rolls in the Supreme Court. I said, sir, in this final electoral roll of Bihar, you have 5 lakh duplicate names. I showed examples. I said, in this country, you know, we are in India holds an AI summit, artificial intelligence summit. We invite people from all over the world. We say, we are leading artificial intelligence. You cannot detect duplicate names in your voters list. Election Commission said, we do not use any software. It's officially on Supreme Court. Election Commission said, we don't have a software. I said, I have a software. My software has detected. I'm giving you a list of 5 lakh names. No interest. I showed in the Election Commission, in the Supreme Court of India, that Bihar's voter list has many households which have more than 10 voters. What is important about it? Because according to the rules of Election Commission, any household, any house which has more than 10 voters, it is not illegal. You can have more than 10 voters. But the electoral registration officer will come and make a special check. He will double check. How come you have more than 10 voters in this house? And you know how many households we had in Bihar? 21 lakh households with more than 10 voters. I produced the evidence in the Supreme Court. And I said, my lord, if I'm wrong, you know, making a false statement before Supreme Court is a crime. You can punish me, you can send me to jail. I'm giving you a list of 21 lakh names, 21 lakh households, each of which has more than 10 voters. I gave them a list of a household with 801 votes. One single house with 750 votes. I gave a merit list. I said, sir, this is the top merit list. Top 10 houses in Bihar, each of which had more than 700 voters in one single house. Election Commission had no interest in cleaning that up, no interest in changing it, no interest in addressing it. Not just that. For my friends in Karnataka, there is very good news. Bihar voter list actually had names printed in Kannada. Yes. I showed it in the Supreme Court, Kannada and Tamil. I said, sir, this is the actual voter list of Bihar. I showed it. I said, I'm challenging it. They are sitting here. If I'm speaking a lie, send me to court, to jail. Not only had elections, so, minimum software would tell you this is not written in Hindi, this is in Kannada, this is in Tamil. Not only, the sad thing is, even after I pointed it out in the Supreme Court, 1 month later, elections were held in Bihar exactly on that very voter list. I produced 50,000 names before the Supreme Court. What was the name? E. Name is Ka. Name is blank. No name. Name blank. Father name blank. I said, how are they going to vote, sir? 50,000 such names. Gibberish names. Name XYZ. Name E ki matra. Nothing else. This is a name. 50,000 names I produced before the Supreme Court. No cleaning of that. So my friends, this is not about cleaning of voters list. Election Commission has zero interest in cleaning of voters list. And wherever SIR has taken place, no cleaning of voters list has taken place, because if you want to clean the voters list, use a software, there are standard procedures. I said, they should follow their own procedures. They have no interest. And finally, SIR is not about excluding foreigners from the voters list. This is another lie you are going to be told. Oh, there are so many foreigners, Bangladeshis, Rohingyas, this, that. All this was said in Bihar. When it happened, after Election Commission said, one of our purposes is to exclude foreigners from the voters list. Election Commission would give a list every day. There was a bulletin every day. These many people deleted because they are dead, these many because they are away, these many because they are duplicate. We said, how many foreigners? No, we don't have data. We'll give you at the end of the exercise. ठीक है साहब? Exercise ended. We said, now that you've done it, 65 lakh names have been deleted in Bihar. Please tell us how many foreigners? No answer. This question was asked to the Chief Election Commission in the press conference. Sir, give us the list of how many foreigners have you caught in Bihar? No answer. So then my team downloaded all the deleted names, because there is a protocol in the Election Commission. You can get the figures of why someone was objected to, objection filed, on what ground, by whom. And you know what we found? We found that more than half the objections were filed by the person concerned. So I had given an application for inclusion of my name in SIR. 3 weeks later, I'm filing an objection against myself. Why is my name in the voters list? This is majority of objections in Bihar. Then we found that more than 100 people had objected to their own name on the ground that this fellow is a foreigner. I said to you, which world do you live in? Who in this world would give an application against oneself to say I'm a foreigner? Because basically it is to say, please take me to jail. I had filled an application last month. I had said, please make me a voter. I'm a citizen of India. And 3 weeks later, I'm saying I'm a foreigner. Anyway, we actually downloaded all those names. Anyone who was objected to on the ground of being a foreigner. Then we also picked up those 4 districts of Bihar, which are close to Bangladesh. They are not next to Bangladesh, but they are very close to Bangladesh. That's called the Purvanchal region of Bihar. And you know how many applications we found? In those 4 districts of Bihar, how many people were objected to on the ground that they were foreigners? 10. In the whole of Purvanchal, for 3 months they were saying foreigner, foreigner, foreigner. Purvanchal is full of foreigners. We have to throw out foreigners. Finally, total objections were 10. 5 of them were Hindus, 5 of them were Muslims. And only 3 of those objections were sustained. As they say in Hindi, khoda pahad nikli chuhiya, aur wo bhi mari hui. They have no answer. This is why the Election Commission doesn't give you the data. Because they have the data, and the data is so embarrassing that they don't want to show you. This whole thing about foreigners is a bogey. It's a lie. It's a hoax. I've taken time to explain over the next 2 months. This will be about every single day of the election. Please ask these questions. Show me the figures from Bihar. Show me the figures from UP. How many foreigners do you have? It is not an attempt to clean up the voters list. It is not an attempt to exclude foreigners from the voters list. What is it all about then? It is, as I said, about managing the patram of democracy and throwing the inconvenient patrams out. It is about conducting an NRC from the back door. There was a proposal for conducting National Register of Citizenship, which has not happened. So how do you do National Register of Citizenship? Do it through the Election Commission of India. This is what they have done. It is about throwing migrants out of the voters list. The biggest sufferer in SIR have been migrants all over the country. Poor people, they come to work in Bengaluru. Their names are not included in Bengaluru because they want to keep it in Gorakhpur. But from Gorakhpur, their name is deleted. So they are not a voter in Gorakhpur now. They are not a voter in Bengaluru. They are people without. And tomorrow someone will say, you are not a citizen of India. You are not a voter anywhere in this country. Your Aadhaar card is not genuine. Out.
finally, who is the gainer? Although BJP loses some of its votes, finally the ground is tilted. 1 degree, 2 degree, that's all you need. Please remember, if the floor is tilted even by 1 degree, look at your bathroom floors. Even 1 degree of tilt and all the water will go in that direction. This is exactly what is being done. What can we do? Normally, we should have said election commission should do something. Election commission should prevent it. That is not going to happen. Election commission is not an empire anymore. They are a player. They are part of the team. So your team has 11 players, their team has 13 players. 11 plus 2. Maybe also the third umpire. So 11 plus 3. So election commission is not going to do anything. Election commission is actively plotting. My friend Avik Sahab will give you the story of West Bengal. When BJP did not succeed in getting rid of Muslim votes in Bengal, in round 1, election commission made special arrangements to ensure that wherever BJP wanted names to be deleted, election commission put special observers in those places. So they are part of the BJP team. They are not outside. Election commission we have zero hopes from. The third umpire, the Supreme Court of India, maybe I should keep quiet. That's probably the best thing one can do. The case is before the Supreme Court of India. The judgment should come any day. I'm myself a litigant. So I should not say anything about this specific case. But you have seen many things that are happening in the Supreme Court of India. You have seen that people do not get bail for 5 years. And the court says, no, the proceedings should take its normal course. You have seen that a chief minister of this country issues a video holding a pistol people of one community in that picture. And the Supreme Court says, no, we should not be listening to such cases. Go to Guwahati High Court. So we know what's happening here. We should not be surprised. I, as a citizen of this country, as a law-abiding citizen, I would continue to hope that the Supreme Court intervenes and stops this completely unconstitutional exercise. But I would not pin all my hopes on that. Where do I pin my hopes then? On all of you. Please remember, wherever in the world there is a threat to republic, republic is not saved by parliaments. Republic is not saved by judiciary. Republic is saved by the public. This is what we need to do. Which is to say, when this exercise begins in Karnataka, if all of us are active, after all, it's a BLO who has to do it. Who is a BLO? He's a local school teacher, maybe an Anganwadi worker, maybe an Asha worker. We have to ensure that in every single booth there is no illegitimate deletion. We have to keep an eye on objections being done from outside. This is also a game they are playing. In so many states, BJP filed objections against local sedition. The rule is that objection can be filed only by someone from that booth. So they picked up someone's name and filed the objection in his name. The fellow says, I don't even know. I have never filed any objection. What is happening? All this is being generated through computers. All these games will be played. We have to be vigilant. We have to be constantly on our toes. The next 2 months are going to be a test of universal adult franchise. Remember, after the great freedom struggle, this is the one thing all Indians got: right to vote. I have one vote, and Prime Minister's Mitron exactly about all those things. I once again thank all of you for coming here in such large measures. I'm so happy to see not just intellectuals, not just activists. I'm so happy to see so many political leaders who have come here because they have to lead the charge. And I'm sure, just as Karnataka has given us the lead in so many things in this country, in this example also, Karnataka will give it lead. Thank you very much.
ಪ್ರಜಾತಾಂತ್ರಿಕ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯ ಹಲವಾರು ಆಯಾಮಗಳು ಮಜಲುಗಳು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸರ್ವಾಧಿಕಾರಿ ಧೋರಣೆಯತ್ತ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದೆ, ಇದನ್ನ ಚಾಣಾಕ್ಷವಾಗಿ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ನಿಭಾಯಿಸಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಯೋಗೇಂದ್ರ ಯಾದವ್ ಸರ್ ಅವರು ತುಂಬಾ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಬಹುಶಃ ಅವರಂತಹ ಚಾಣಾಕ್ಷವಾದಂತ ಮಾನವತ್ವವಾದಿಗಳು ನಮ್ಮೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ತಿಳುವಳಿಕೆ ಬರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ಸರ್. ವಿ ಆರ್ ರಿಯಲಿ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಫುಲ್ ದಟ್ ವಿ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸ್ಮಾರ್ಟ್ humanists and talented, the most talented sephologists like you who are the smart moves of the government in evading the democratic principles. So thank you so much, sir.
ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಸಹಕಾರ ಕೇಳಬೇಕಿದೆ. ಅದೇನೆಂದರೆ, ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ನಾವು ಸಂಘಟಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ಭಾಷಣಕಾರರಿರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತನಾಡುವವರು ಬಹಳ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಅಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಹಿಂದಿ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಬಂದವರು ಕೂಡ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ತಮಿಳ್ನಾಡಿನಿಂದ ಮಾತಾಡಬೇಕಿರೋದು ಒಂದು ವಿಡಿಯೋ ತರಿಸಿದೀವಿ, ಅವರು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನಮಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಹೊತ್ತು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮದಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರೋಂಥ ಒಂದು ಭಾಷೆದು ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬೋರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಬೇಸಿಗೆ ಶುರು ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿನ ಫ್ಯಾನ್ಗಳು ಸಾಕಾಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಈ ಥರದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ತೊಡಕಿದೆ. ಸೊ ನಾನು ತಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಮನವಿ ಮಾಡೋದು, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ತಾಳ್ಮೆಯನ್ನ, ಪೇಷನ್ಸು ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ತಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಮೋದಿ, ಅಮಿತ್ ಶಾ, ಜ್ಞಾನೇಶ್ ಕುಮಾರ್ ಮೊದಲು ನಾರ್ತ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲೇ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಭಾಷಣ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಯಾರ ಬೆರಳ ತುದಿಯಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ರಾಹುಲ್ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಿ ಅವರ ಬೆರಳ ತುದಿಯಲ್ಲಿದೆ. ಆ ರೀತಿ ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣ ಡೇಟಾ, ಒಂದು ಬೂತ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂಗೆ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಅವರಲ್ಲಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ತಾಳ್ಮೆಯಿಂದ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಮನವಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಈಗ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ರಾಹುಲ್ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಿ. ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಲೇಷನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಲೇಷನ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ನಾವು ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಲೇಷನ್ ಬಂದ್ರೆ 4 ಗಂಟೆ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಮುಗಿಯುತ್ತೆ. ಸಪರೇಟ್ ಒಬ್ರು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ 6:30-7 ಗಂಟೆ ಮುಗಿಯುತ್ತೆ. ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಸಾಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಸಾಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
Thanks to Dr. Vasu for the very kind introduction, and also it's a great privilege seeing all of you here, and hopefully in the next 20 odd minutes I'll take you through the main process of what the SIR is like. So I think we'll just give a broad outline of what all of you responsible people have to kind of take care of, and also basically what exactly the form looks like, etc. You already have a sample in, when you came in, you were given a sample. And what's the basic this of filling up the form and ensuring that kind of no legitimate voters vote gets cut. been more than 9 out of 10 of deletions till now have been because people were unable to submit their electoral form, and this huge case of migrants in Bangalore also, there are a lot of migrants. Technically, all migrants households, all the households in which there is a migrant, even if the migrant is outside, the family, any adult member of the family can fill up the form for the person and sign the form, and the form should be accepted. However, despite this concession given to all the migrant families, we have seen 15%, 18% deletions taking place in Uttar Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, etc. So that is one major thing, that you have 1 month given, and in that 1 month, everybody who has been given a form, the enumeration form, should be able to fill it up, or his family should be able to fill it up and return it to the concerned BLO. And beyond that, this is some of a soft pre-NRC kind of a form, in which everybody has to link either himself or herself to the 2002 electoral roll, show where in 2002 electoral roll that person was, or where his father or mother or grandfather or grandmother were in the 2002 electoral roll. So both maternal and paternal grandfather or grandmother are allowed. So a person has to either prove where he himself was on the 2002 electoral roll, or where his relatives of his were on the 2002 electoral roll. This is extremely challenging. This process that we have called, that they have termed mapping or linkage. And this is the most challenging part of the enumeration, from trying to locate where one's relative was in the 2002 electoral roll. So this is something that all voters will find it very difficult to really map themselves or their themselves to, or their fathers or mothers, where they are on the rolls. Especially married, will find it extremely difficult to map where their father or mother or grandfather or grandmother role. So this is something in which voters and of social activists of trying to set up help desk to trying to help them locate where their fathers or mothers or grandfathers or grandmothers were on the 2002 electoral rolls. So this is probably the most crucial part of the enumeration form business. So I think with this kind of background, I think let's get into the slides. Could you please start the slides, please? You require 5 minutes. Okay. So what's new is this enumeration form business. That is the first new thing. And the second new thing is that the form 6 itself is now no longer as easy to fill up as it was earlier. So the same form 6 remains, however, in the last form 6, the declaration form was very simple to fill. In that you only had to tick that you were a citizen of India, etc. You only had to declare that and sign that. Now, in the declaration form itself, for all new voters, you have to tell in the form 6 declaration form where the linkage was, where your mother or father was in the 2002 electoral roll. This means that getting on to the electoral roll as a new voter is not very simple any longer. The thing is that, and if you cannot link to the 2002 electoral roll, then you have to produce one among the list of 11 documents. That is what started this entire controversy, because despite multiple petitions to the Supreme Court, accepted that they will accept Aadhaar card as one of the documents. But even now, in the second SIR process, they are saying that you can submit Aadhaar card, definitely, but we want one more of the 11 documents, which are not very easy for any illiterate or person who has not been to school to produce any of those 11 documents. So that remains a challenge, that people who do not have a school living certificate, how do they kind of, they cannot establish their mapping to the 2002 roll, and they have to produce some document. Then how will they get any of those 11 documents? In Bihar, at least, our experience was that 2 of those documents were expired. One was the caste certificate and the other was the domicile certificate. I don't know personally how in next month or so, while the enumeration phase is on, if everybody has at least one of those 11 documents, either domicile, caste certificate, then it will be much easier for the person to preserve his or her vote. So, no, with that, so the states in the blue is where light blue is where the already the SIR has taken place, and in the dark blue are the states like Karnataka, etc., where the process will start in April, and that will be the end of the SIR. This will be the final phase of the SIR. Next slide. Sir, full screen कर देना ना, sir, because the next thing is I don't think this is at the moment visible, and if there are mistakes in the Kannada translation, please forgive those mistakes. So basically the BLO for everybody who is on the 2025 SSR, the BLO will get an enumeration form, and he's supposed to issue two enumeration forms to everybody. One for he will back, and one he will countersign. So that is a receipt that the BLO gives to every voter. Now, if the voter submits the form back, then every voter who submits the form back should get on the draft rolls. So there is nobody who submits the form should be out of the draft list. However, if the person cannot, or the person is not there, the house is closed, the BLO is not 3 times to check if the person is there or not. And if not, then the BLO gives a reason saying that he cannot find the person because he is either absent or shifted or dead or duplicate within the same polling booth. So in all these 4 cases, the BLO has to give reason, and all these people will not feature in the draft roll who are absent or shifted, whom the BLO says are absent or shifted or dead. If they are actually not absent or shifted, because lots of such mistakes happen, the election commission with the draft list will publish this list of people who cannot be on the who have not been on the draft list, who have been excluded. All of them will be asked to submit a form 6 and enroll as a fresh voter. However, if there are a lot of such false cases of deletion, person submits the enumeration form with the linkage with the mapping, it is not necessary that the person will get into the final list, because they will check the mapping. No, as Dr. No Basavaraj said, for Amartya Sen's case, they said that Amartya Sen and his mother, the software said that their age difference is less than 15 years, though it was 19 years actually. So, for if the person is Basavaraj in one in the 2002 electoral, and today he is Basavanna, then they will say the name is not matching. Hence, no, the software will say that no, you have mapped yourself, but you need to show your documents.
Sorry, the simultaneous translation is because of some technical reason it is not happening to put both PPT and the translation. So in between I'll have to translate.
Then I think it will take a lot of time. Let the Kannada PPT go.
Okay, fine.
Let the Kannada PPT go on. There is no problem.
Okay.
So yeah, yes. Hindi or English? Okay, English, will continue with English. So we'll continue with English. So the thing is that if the person is in the draft list, even then that person's name can get deleted. No? And one of the things is that the mapping is not correct as per the Election Commission software. In that case also the person will need to submit a document, or then the person can be deleted though he is in the draft list because somebody files an objection. Now the Election Commission does not allow bulk objections, but single objections. They are allowing unlimited objections of committed political activists who are filing false objections. So in this case also, if they file false objections saying that the person is not a resident here, etc., through a Form 7, that also needs to be contested by people like us, that none of our voters should get deleted just like that. No, right now, till now, everybody, even in Gujarat, the political activists have been successful in not letting deletions happen through objections. However, if the mapping is not proper, we will kind of skip slides since we don't have too much time at the moment. We'll just give one example of how this is to be looked at. Next, could you go to the next slide? So we will take one family in which there is a person who is age 71, who is Vittal in a constituency in Bagalkot. And he in assembly number 10 in Bagalkot. Next slide. So this is what the enumeration form looks like. Could you just expand जितना ये हो सकता है, मैग्नीफाई हो सकता है? हाँ. So in the enumeration form, the good thing is that the BLO's name has been given. Who the BLO is and his phone number has been given. The other fields also, the name of the person, etc. has been pre-filled. Could you go down? And here is the main linkage part, which asks that in the previous SIR of 2002, where were you or where was your father? What was the number, serial number of the voting list in which you were there in 2002, and you have to fill up all the details of which assembly constituency, which polling booth you were. From 2002 to today, everything has changed. Many assembly constituency numbers have changed. Many assembly constituencies have also changed post delimitation. So today's assembly constituency number, today's polling booth number is not 2002 number. So one has to go and search. Next, could you this? And last, finally, could you go to the right, please? Here, any of the BLOs, any of the adult relative can sign this if the person is out of station, and the person will be also, the BLO has to also sign on that, and the person will be given one copy also as a receipt. But in many cases, 2 copies have not been given. This receipt copy has not been given. Next. Yeah. Now, how does the person actually link up to this? So the first part is very easy to fill, and even if something goes wrong in the first part, there is no problem. The main thing is how do you link with the epic number to the 2002 electoral roll. Could you go to the next year? is the caste certificate and the domicile certificate. So at the hearing, the person has to come with those documents, submit those documents, and then hope for the best. Next. Yeah. So overall, if the person gets through all these hoops, then the person will get onto the final role. So it is making all of us sweat. It is making all the voters extremely anxious. So provided you provide them with as much support as possible, as much organized support as possible, as voter assistance teams, most people will be able to make it to the final roles. But it's a heavy responsibility which all of you have. Thanks a lot. Yep.
Thank you so much, Rahul ji. In fact, ನಮಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ತಾಂತ್ರಿಕವಾದಂತ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸ್ ಈ ರಾಹುಲ್ ಜಿ ಅವರ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಇಂದ ದೊರಕಿದೆ. SIR ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಇದರ ಹಿಂದಿನ ರಾಜಕಾರಣ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಯೋಗೇಂದ್ರ ಯಾದವ್ ಸರ್ ಅವರು ನಮಗೆ ತಿಳಿಸ್ಕೊಟ್ರು. ಆದ್ರೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಇದು ಕ್ಲಿಷ್ಟಕರವಾದಂತ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಈಗ ರಾಹುಲ್ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಿ ಅವರು ನಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದೆ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು. ಆದ್ರೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಇನ್ನೊಂದಷ್ಟು ಈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಯಾನೆಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಇದಾದ ನಂತರ ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನ ನಾವು ಊಟವನ್ನ ಮುಗಿಸಿ ನಂತರ ಒಂದು ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಫಿಲ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆಯನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನಾವೀಗ ಜಾರಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ತಿಳುವಳಿಕೆ ಬರಬೇಕು. ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಜನರನ್ನ ನಾವು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಳಗೊಳಿಸ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಯಾರು ಕೂಡ ಈ ಒಂದು ಚುನಾವಣಾ ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆಯಿಂದ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಉಳಿಬಾರ್ದು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಾದಂತ ಕ್ರಮಗಳನ್ನ ಕೈಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಸನ್ನದ್ಧರನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು ನಮ್ಮ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಕೂಡ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅದು ಇರತ್ತೆ. ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ನಮ್ಮೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಾನು ವಿನಂತಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇನೆ. ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಶ್ರೀ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಯಾದವ್ ಯೋಗೇಂದ್ರ ಯಾದವ್ ಸರ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಹಾಗೂ ರಾಹುಲ್ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಪುಟ್ಟ ಕಾಣಿಕೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಜಶೇಖರ್ ಅಕ್ಕಿ ಅವರನ್ನ ನಾನು ವೇದಿಕೆಗೆ ಬರಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇನೆ. A small token of gratitude from our end, sir. I request you to kindly receive on behalf of Jagrata Karnataka, and I request Akki sir to kindly hand it over to Professor Yogendra Yadav. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us and giving us insights around SIR. Thank you so much. And I now request Shri Rahul Shastri to kindly come onto the stage, and I request Akki sir to kindly hand over a small token of appreciation and a memento from Jagrata Karnataka. Thank you so much. I request Yogendra Yadav sir and Rahul ji sir to kindly be seated in the front row and attend the remaining part of the session. Meanwhile, we will be stepping into panel discussion. ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಯಾನೆಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಪ್ಯಾನೆಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಮಾತಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು ಬೇರೆಲ್ಲ ರಾಜ್ಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. ಶ್ರೀ ರಾಹುಲ್ ಜಿ ಅವರು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ರು ಹೇಗೆ ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆಗಳು ಹಲವಾರು ರಾಜ್ಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಮುಗಿದಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಬಿಹಾರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಪಶ್ಚಿಮ ಬಂಗಾಳದಲ್ಲಿ ಆದಂತ SIR ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆ ದೇಶಾದ್ಯಂತ ಹಲವು ವಿಷಯಗಳಿಗೆ ಸುದ್ದಿ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ನಾವು ತಜ್ಞರನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಕರೆಸಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಈಗ ವೇದಿಕೆಗೆ ಬರಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಮೊದಲನೇದಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಆಶೀಶ್ ರಂಜನ್ ಅವರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ವೇದಿಕೆಗೆ ಕರೆಯುವಾಗ ಜಾಗೃತ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಪದಾಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಮನವಿ, ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಚೇರ್ನ ಎರಡು ಬದಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿ ಅವರು ಬರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅನುಕೂಲ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ಶ್ರೀ ಆಶೀಶ್ ರಂಜನ್ ಅವರು ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಅಸಂಘಟಿತ ವಲಯದ ಕಾರ್ಮಿಕರ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಬಹಳ ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈ ಒಂದು SIR ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆ ಆವಾಗ ಬಿಹಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಚುನಾವಣಾ ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆ, ಈ ಒಂದು SIR ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆ ಏನು ಬಿಹಾರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಆಯಿತು, ಅವಾಗ ಮೊದಲ ದಿನದಿಂದಾನೇ ಈ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆಯನ್ನ ಬಹಳ ಹತ್ತಿರದಿಂದ ನೋಡಿ ಜನಗಳನ್ನ ಸಂಘಟಿಸಿ ಜನಗಳಿಗೆ ಇದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾಹಿತಿಯನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಈ ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆಯ ಭಾಗವಾಗೋದು ಹೇಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಜಾತಾಂತ್ರಿಕ ಹಕ್ಕನ್ನ ಹೇಗೆ ರಕ್ಷಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಅಂತ ಅವರೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಹತ್ತಿರದಿಂದ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಜನಜಾಗರಣ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಸಂಘಟನೆಯ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ಸಂಚಾಲಕರಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಅಲಯನ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ಸ್ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಹಲವಾರು ಜನಪರ ಸಂಘಟನೆಗಳ ಅಲಯನ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ಮಟ್ಟದಲ್ಲಿ, ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವರು ಪದಾಧಿಕಾರಿಯಾಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇವರು ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಬಿಹಾರ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆದಂತಹ SIR ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆಯ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ರಿಯಾಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಅನುಭವವನ್ನು ಹಂಚಿಕೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ನಾನು ವೇದಿಕೆಗೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಐ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆಶೀಶ್ ರಂಜನ್ ಸರ್ ಟು ಕೈಂಡ್ಲಿ ಕಮ್ ಆನ್ ಟು ದಿ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಟು present on the experiences from the Bihar. So ಚಪ್ಪಾಳೆಯೊಂದಿಗೆ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಬರ್ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ಹಾಗೆ ನಮ್ಮೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಅವಿಕ್ ಸಾಹಾ ಅವರು ಬರ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ಮಾತನಾಡಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬೆಂಗಾಲ್ನಲ್ಲಿ SIR ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಆಯಿತು, ಅಲ್ಲಿನ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ರಿಯಾಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಏನಿತ್ತು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಅವರು ಹಂಚಿಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. ನಮಗೆ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತು, ಶ್ರೀ ಅವಿಕ್ ಸಾಹಾ ಅವರು ಹೈಕೋರ್ಟ್ ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬೆಂಗಾಲ್ ಹಾಗೆ ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸೀನಿಯರ್ ಅಡ್ವೊಕೇಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಜೈ ಕಿರಣ್ ಜೈ ಕಿಸಾನ್ ಆಂದೋಲನಲ್ಲಿ ಹಲವಾರು ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದ ತೊಡಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಹಾಗೂ ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ತುಂಬಾ ಸೀನಿಯರ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಸ್ಟು ಮತ್ತೆ ಪ್ರಗತಿಪರ ವಲಯದಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋರಾಟವನ್ನ ನಡೆಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ವೇದಿಕೆಗೆ ಬರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಐ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಅವಿಕ್ ಸಾಹಾ ಸರ್ ಟು ಕೈಂಡ್ಲಿ ಕಮ್ ಆನ್ ಟು ದ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ to present on the experiences from the West Bengal SIR process. And ಅವರು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಈಗ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಒಂದೆರಡು ನಿಮಿಷದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ನಮ್ಮೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಶ್ರೀಯುತ ಎಂ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಅವರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ex-MLA, ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ತುಂಬಾ ಚಿರಪರಿಚಿತರಾದಂತಹ ಮುಖಂಡರು. ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ಈ ಒಂದು ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ವೇದಿಕೆಗೆ ಬರಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇನೆ. ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಚಪ್ಪಾಳೆಯೊಂದಿಗೆ ಬರಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇನೆ. ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನದ ಸಮಯ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಊಟದ ಸಮಯ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಈಗ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು. ಬಹುಶಃ ಈ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಯಾನೆಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಮುಗಿದ ನಂತರ ನಾವು ಊಟದ ವಿರಾಮವನ್ನು ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಂತರದ ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆ ಅನಂತರ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಯಾನೆಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ನಡೆಸ್ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ವಾಸು ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇನೆ. ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ವೇದಿಕೆಗೆ ಬರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇನೆ. ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತು, ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ವಾಸು ಅವರು ಹಲವಾರು ಸುಮಾರು 20-25 ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದ ಜನಪರ ಸಂಘಟನೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಸಕ್ರಿಯವಾಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ವೃತ್ತಿಪರವಾಗಿ ಅವರು ವೈದ್ಯರು. ಜಾಗೃತ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಅದರ ಒಂದು ಮುಂಚೂಣಿ ಪಾತ್ರವನ್ನ ವಹಿಸಿದವರಲ್ಲಿ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ವಾಸು ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ಒಬ್ರು. ಈಗ ಇವರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ನಮಗೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಯಾನೆಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ನ ಭಾಗವಾಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಹಾಗೂ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ವಾಸು ಅವರು ಇದನ್ನು ನಡೆಸ್ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇನೆ. ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸೀತಾ. ಅವಿಕ್ ಸಹ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತ. ಅವಿಕ್ ಸಹ ಅವರು ನಿಮಗೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಪರಿಚಯ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ದೆಹಲಿ ಸುತ್ತ ಸುಮಾರು 14 ತಿಂಗಳ ಕಾಲ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ರೈತ ಹೋರಾಟ ನಡೀತು. ಆ ರೈತ ಹೋರಾಟದ ಮುಂಚೂಣಿಲಿದ್ದಂಥ ಸಂಘಟನೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ಒಬ್ರು. ಜೈ ಕಿಸಾನ್ ಆಂದೋಲನ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ, ಅದರ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಸಂಚಾಲಕರು. ಅದಲ್ಲದೆ ಕೋಲ್ಕತ್ತಾ ಹೈಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತು ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಪಶ್ಚಿಮ ಬಂಗಾಳದಲ್ಲಿ ಇವರಲ್ಲದೆ ನಾವು ಜವಾಹರ್ ಸರ್ಕಾರ್ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಸಿದ್ವಿ. ಜವಾಹರ್ ಸರ್ಕಾರ್ ಪಶ್ಚಿಮ ಬಂಗಾಳದ ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕಮಿಷನರ್ ಕೂಡ ಆಗಿದ್ದವರು, IAS ಅಧಿಕಾರಿ ಮತ್ತು ನಂತರ ರಾಜ್ಯಸಭಾದಲ್ಲಿ MP ಕೂಡ ಆಗಿದ್ರು. ಅವ್ರದ್ದೊಂದು ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಇದೆ. ಆ ವಿಡಿಯೋನ ನಾವು ಸಮಯದ ಕೊರತೆಯಿಂದ ಹಾಕಕ್ಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದನ್ನ ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಯಾರೆಲ್ಲ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಲೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿಸಿದ್ದೀರಿ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ಗೆ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ನ ನಾವು ಕಳಿಸ್ಕೊಡೋಕಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಜವಾಹರ್ ಸರ್ಕಾರ್ ಅವರ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಕೂಡ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇದಲ್ಲದೆ ಆಶೀಶ್ ರಂಜನ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆಶೀಶ್ ರಂಜನ್ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಮೆರಿಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಭಾರತದ ಗ್ರಾಮೀಣ ಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಬಿಹಾರ ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಒಂದು ನೇಪಾಳದ ಗಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಜಿಲ್ಲೆ ಇದೆ, ಅರರಿಯಾ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಜಿಲ್ಲೆ. ಆ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅಸಂಘಟಿತ ಕೂಲಿ ಕಾರ್ಮಿಕರ ನಡುವೆ ಅವರು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಜನಜಾಗರಣ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಸಂಘಟನೆ ಅಂತ ಅವರ ಸಂಘಟನೆ. ಸೊ ಅವರಿಬ್ಬರು ಕೂಡ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಸಮಯ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ನಾನು ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸರಿ ಹೃತ್ಪೂರ್ವಕವಾಗಿ ಸ್ವಾಗತಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಬಹುತೇಕ ಅನುವಾದ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಆದ್ರೂ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಇದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಸೇರಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಬಿಹಾರದಿಂದ ಶುರು ಮಾಡೋಣ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ SIR ಬಿಹಾರದಿಂದ ಶುರು ಆಯಿತು. SIR ಬಿಹಾರ್ ಸೆ it started from Bihar, so we'll also start from Bihar. So can you first start with some numbers, like how many people were excluded and what was the exact ground situation? How did the political parties encounter this SIR? So can we start from there?
First of all, thank you for having me here. So after what Yogendra ji has said, there is not much to say, but let me answer your question. It started all of a sudden, like Notbandi, this government has a penchant for doing such things. So all of a sudden we came to know on 24th June that SIR process will be started from Bihar and it will be followed throughout the country. And the same order exists that was issued on 24th of June and started then. We did not know what SIR is and there was a lot of confusion. But as ordinary citizens of this country, most people believe that whatever they do, they are not going to do things so bad that people would be excluded. That kind of faith people have in Indian democracy. But soon that faith started waning away because of the situation that developed. First of all, they said that everyone will have to fill up a form, enumeration form, and that has to be filled by the same person, by the voter himself or herself, unlike the later modification where the relative could also fill the form. In case of Bihar, that voter had to fill the form. And as you know, Bihar women's Safai Karmi in the apartment, and they had handed over blank forms to my parents. So that was the kind of situation that reflects.
Actually, just to tell you, Tamil Nadu SR came much later in the second phase, and Tamil Nadu 12 lakh blank forms were submitted to the election commission. Then we can imagine how sudden it could be. But the issue is, what the because we are really politically polarized state, and RJD is fighting the election and JDU is there. So did not the BLAs help these voters?
See, there are thousands of BLAs enlisted officially by the election commission, and parties have given some name. But Bihar doesn't work like that. In Bihar, BLAs are ineffective. Mostly the names are given as a formality. They are not at all active in their area. So in our case, we found that BLAs had no idea. They could not help the people. Those who are helping the people were ordinary people, good Samaritans, educated people, organization which had developed some understanding of the process, things like that. More or less, people were left alone, or they were dependent on BLOs. And BLOs are teachers in Bihar, and they are very much connected to the community. Mostly they reside in the village or in the town nearby. So I think BLOs played a wonderful role. And another thing I want to say is, Bihar is a poorly administered state. So what happens at the top, when it comes down, it is a totally different thing. So for example,
You mean to say BLOs were not partial? They were not there to exclude people.
they were not there to exclude people. In fact, they filled up the form without voters signing the enumeration form, without voters doing anything. And that's why if you go back to the YouTube and you search Ajit Anjum, he showed a video of a block office where officials were uploading blank forms which were signed by somebody, and they were helping, they were just getting the data from the earlier voter list, and they were filling it themselves and uploading it on the site. So that is what has happened.
So you mean to say that the political parties were not ready, even though they had a list of BLAs, they were not ready, but instead BLOs themselves helped to an extent.
That's right. Political parties were not ready. In fact, that is a larger question, that political parties more women than
out of 7.9 crore.
7.89.
7,90,00,000 ಜನರಲ್ಲಿ 65,00,000 ಜನರ ಹೆಸರನ್ನ ಮೊದಲ ರೋಲ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ತೆಗೆಯಲಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಅಂಡ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಫೈನಲ್ ರೋಲ್
And then after the draft list was published and people started objecting and there were new voters also added, the final was about 21 lakhs were added and 3 lakhs were deleted. So final was about 7.42 crore voters which remained on the list, and the elections were held on that voter list.
Okay. I'll come back to you to ask you later then about the Supreme Court intervened on a few things, asked the Election Commission to display the names of the deleted voters, all that. I'll come back to that. But I want to ask Avigdha about what's happening in Bengal, because Bengal is one of the states where you have fierce party workers at the booth level. We also know that in about 30% of the panchayat constituencies, the opposition is not allowed to the opposition is not allowed to file nomination in panchayat elections. That is the kind of strength that TMC has. That is the kind of strength that the TMC has at the booth level. And Mamata Banerjee is also known to fight all these things, but still we do not have the final numbers of exclusion in Bengal so far. But how did the TMC look at these issues in the beginning, and was it prepared, and what is the situation now?
Dr. Vasu, ನಮಸ್ಕಾರಗಳು.
ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಹೇಳಬೇಕು, ಅವಿಕ್ಸ ಅವರು ಈ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ಬರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಬಹಳ ಖುಷಿಯಿಂದ ಬರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕಾರಣ, ಅವ್ರ ಮಗನಿಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಮದುವೆ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ಬೀಗ್ರವರು. ಸೊ ಏಪ್ರಿಲ್ ಇಂದ ಅವರು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಬೀಗ್ರು.
Before I answer your question about the figures, I want to tell everybody in this hall that Bengal Vidhan Sabha election is not going to happen. That is the result of the effort that the political party in power and the civil society has done. So finally, सब हिसाब किताब के बाद बीजेपी बोला भी चुनाव कराएंगे ही नहीं. तब रवि को फ्लाई आउट किया चेन्नई से, राजभवन में बैठाया. ये बात, this was going in their mind because after the first draft roll, they
A new governor has already come to Bengal. So there is only one reason why all this is happening. There will be no election in Bengal. There will be president's rule. They will try to take control of the administration, and then after some time they will go for election. Now the figures. I want to also give some dates and times which will explain the figures better. So, Bengal SIR process started on 4th November 2025, and the first draft was published on 16th December. So it is 42 days. In 42 days, a list of 7,66,37,529 people, मतलब लगभग 7.5 करोड़ लोगों को 42 डेज में मजबूर किया कि आप फॉर्म हमारे पास जमा करके you become a voter for the first time by submitting your form. So you can only imagine.
7.5 ಕೋಟಿ ಜನರಿಗೆ ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ 45 ದಿನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ 42 ದಿನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಫಾರಂ ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ಫಿಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನೀವು ಮತದಾರರಾಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಪಶ್ಚಿಮ ಬಂಗಾಳದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಲಾಯಿತು.
The moment we talk about figures, they become very abstract. We cannot connect. We say 50 lakh, 30 lakh, and we can't see faces. So I am going to give you, Dr. Vasu, one example of the trouble that a voter had to go through, which is in my own family. My sister is a widow. She stays with her children in UK. She comes 6 months here, 6 months there. At that time, SIR time, she was in UK. She said, what will I do? I contacted the BLO. She said, all right, you fill up the form, you sign the form. I signed the form. It was rejected. Then, because I am a lawyer, I did more things, and finally it was accepted. So my sister living in UK, not being able to file a form is all right, but imagine the number of voters from Bengal in Bangalore city itself who had to go back to fill up the form. And what language I could speak to the BLO, they can't speak like that.
But after that, after probably Supreme Court's intervention, any adult person in the family can fill up the form, right?
That is the rule. But you go to any village, when it will start in Karnataka, you will see what the BLO will say. The BLO will say, you have to sign the form. Family member not allowed. If you speak in English, if you are from the city, they will say family member is allowed. There are two laws in India, very clearly. One for the poor, one for the rich. So, in 42 days, 7 crore 66 lakh people had to fill up the form. In the first draft list, Dr. Vasu, 58 lakh 8,232 people, names were deleted, of which I think this is correct. 24 lakh 17,000 were deceased. Relocated were 19 lakh 88,000. I know that must be also correct because I am one of the relocated persons. In 2002, I was voting in one constituency. In 2021, I was voting. I'm 2026, I'm voting in another. So relocated is 19 lakh 88,000. Missing is 12 lakh 20,000. Now this is a very disturbing figure. What does missing mean? I don't know yet. And duplicate was 1 lakh 38,000. This came to a total of 58 lakh 8,000. Names were deleted. So the voter list drop was from 7 crore 66 lakh, it became 7 crore 8 lakh.
But in any case, much lesser than Bihar.
Much lesser, and that's where the problem is. That is why we are looking at President's rule. So when you ask the question about what happened next, or should I tell you now?
You've already answered the question.
No, but the greater number of deletions were there. You should know that.
But is this because the Trinamool Congress cadre were there in the booth and the civil society organizations were also alert? That is why the deletions were less, and you are also saying that the number is more or less correct in the sense
Don't buy land. Buy land